Good afternoon. My name is Oliver. I'm a marketing manager with Kornit Digital Europe. I represent the entity that's based in Ratingen, Düsseldorf. And I would like to talk to you this afternoon a little bit about how to move into successful direct-to-garment printing, assuming that you are just starting in this field. Can I ask who of you is a garment decorator, a garment printer already? Is anybody here? Two of you. Everybody else, I assume, is a digital printer. Okay. Digital printer, wide format printer, screen printer, something like that? Okay. Good. Quick introduction, I promise it's only one slide. Kornit Digital develops, produces, markets digital printing solutions for textiles. We have two major product lines. One is the direct-to-garment printing systems, means we print on the ready-made t-shirt, hoodie, trouser, whatever. Then there is a range of, not a range, it's a roll-to-roll system. It's called the Allegro, prints 1 meter 80 wide, and has a productivity of 100 linear meters per hour. It's an Israeli company, was founded in 2003. In the beginning of last month, the company went public, so we are now a Nasdaq-listed company. 250 employees worldwide, headquartered in Israel, where we do the research and development. We're looking at an installed base of 1,300 machines at this point. So it's definitely fair to say that we have vast experience with doing those installations. We have quite an understanding of what our customers do, what the challenges are. So in the industrial segment, we are the clear market leader. It's important to mention that we do not only make the systems, also the ink is our own ink. That's very important because most of the know-how in this printing process is in the ink. All other consumables, we have quite a broad support offering, warranty, application solutions. So we have, not sure if you've seen my colleague Axel, he's doing a daily presentation here showing on how to improve the print quality when working on such a system. So this is important expertise. We try not to only sell the system, we really try to make our customers successful and explain them how it works. Textile printing is a bit more sophisticated, let's say, than printing on paper or printing on a billboard, because textiles are not really made for being printed on. They have different characteristics, they absorb liquidities in a different way, ink sticks to them in different ways. It's really a bit more challenging than working on the usual substrates. Strong growth, profitable, healthy company. So from my perspective, I think Kornit should be a good partner for you guys to work with. Textile printing market is a virtually unlimited business opportunity. The charming thing about the garment market is that you have a potential of 7 billion customers. The market size of textile overall is $1 trillion. Out of that, printed textiles are 165 billion. And out of that, the digitally printed textiles are a mere $10 billion. So the penetration rate of digital in printed textiles is really, really small. And there's quite a way to go. So the demand for solutions like we do them, the demand for digitally printed products is practically unlimited. What are the trends in the textile printing market? Custom-made garments, that market is continuing to grow. You probably know websites like, you've seen the guys from BD Group speaking before, so I think you've seen that this is quite an interesting business model. We have the Vista prints, the Spreadshirts of this world. People are really interested in uploading their own designs, being creative, seeing the shirt as a expression of their own creativity and style. So that trend is going to grow. Show-to-mid runs are performed by mature and faster digital equipment. The conventional analog processes, you know that all. You need to make a screen, you need to make films. It's going to create a base cost. It will probably cost you a few €100 before you have even printed the first shirt. So of course it makes sense when it's small runs, 5, 10, 50, 500, 5,000 pieces to go and start printing them with a digital process. Customer focus is moving from technology and product cost to business requirements. That means the speeds and feeds, like how fast is the printer, how many heads does it have, is not so relevant to people anymore. They want to understand what is it that I need to produce, what's the technology that I need to make, but the production tool, the printer, is just a tool at the end of the chain. I think the BD guys have given you a really good example on how the intelligence is really in the system, in the workflow, in the order taking. So the printer is just the tool at the end of the chain that simply needs to work. E-commerce, of course, is a giant trend. Also for Kornit, in the new business, e-commerce vendors, people that take your orders through websites, are a really, really important customer group for us, if not the most important customer group. So if you are going to enter your own printed offerings, your success factor number one is customization. I'm not sure if any of you is using websites like that, offerings like that. The bag that you see here, I also made it myself. It's very similar to the Timbuktu offering that you see here. So you go to their website. It shows you the prototype of the bag. You can pick your own materials, colors, and so on. And of course, the difference between this kind of custom-made bag and a bag that's coming from the factory without a way to change it is almost a 90% upcharge. And the same goes for all kinds of customized products that you can order according to your flavor. So making customized products, but a lot of them is the new trend that we see in the market today, and we call it mass customization. It's really, really interesting margins. So this is a good thing to consider if you start your own business in that area. Success factor 2, quality shirts and designs. There is a lot of garment decorators that end up in price battles. They try to sell shirts for 5, 6, 7, 8 euros. Sometimes they sell individual prints. These are the guys that need to work with discounts, that offer really, really cheap prints. And as you can imagine, this is not going to take you very far. These guys, however, and we have a customer in Portugal, for example, that's in the fashion segment. He's printing shirts for Givenchy and other big brands. And you see the prices that can be charged here. 490 bucks. I think this is quite rich. And this shows you the difference between a successful and not so successful business, because there's quite a difference in the price and obviously in the margins. Customer service, really, really important. When the margins are good, you can afford to let a little bit go on really restrictive customer service policy. You guys probably have all ordered something on Amazon already. Whenever you have the slightest problem, you just send it back. In Germany, there is a regulation that after or until up to 14 days, they need to take back your order anyway, regardless of the reason. And this is the only way those online shops can sustain. Because once you treat a customer not the right way, once a customer has a complaint, those people will spread it on Facebook, the social media, everything, and that reputation will spread. So customer satisfaction is one of the most important ingredients in your successful direct-to-garment business. The really important thing that I would like to convey is that when you used an analog system, like screen printing carousel or something like that before, and you replace it with a digital system, the one mistake that you should not make is to simply replace analog with digital technology and assume that the same business model works. So people are asking me a lot, how many shirts do you need to profitably produce per day on your system? so it pays for itself. My usually response is that the number or the quantity of the shirts that you produce is usually not the most important factor. You have a screen printer here that adds digital technology but keeps the business model. That means he is selling commodity shirts. No creative designs, no cool approach. The same shirts that everybody else can print. He's selling that to a reseller. And of course, the reseller also wants to have a margin, so he cannot sell them very expensive. Sale price 650 or 8 euros per shirt. That's not an awful lot. However, he is printing 50 shirts a day, 25 white, 25 dark. There's quite a difference in the production costs for white and dark shirts. I assume you know that. When you print on a dark shirt, you need to add a white layer under the CMYK layers. And the white ink is usually the most important cost factor in a printed shirt. This is a little bit of a rough snapshot of the numbers. If you are interested in the more detailed calculations, feel free to come our main booth. It's in this hall. The booth number is E8. And one of our sales reps will sit down with you and do an individual calculation, which is based on your requirements and your individual parameters. But roughly saying, this is the monthly revenues that are generated, just shy of 7,500 euros. You have a payment or release rate for the printer and the dryer, approximately 1,300 euros, depends a little bit on the interest rate. And that means you have monthly expenses in that range. The difference is that until the first year, your printer will be under warranty. From the second year, you will need to have a maintenance contract. That's why those numbers are varying a little bit. So this is where your monthly profit is. And the number of months that you require in order to earn the machine price back and the dryer price back is approximately 26 months. Second scenario, however, we have a screen printer that adds digital technology, but he changes his business model. So he sells custom designs, really creative designs, cool shirts to consumers through a web shop. The price he charges is something between 15 and 20 euros per shirt, and he only makes 30 shirts per day, so that's 20 less than in the previous example. The monthly revenues here total up to 10,805 euros. Lease rate for the equipment is still the same. Monthly expenses are going a little bit up because obviously he needs more shirts, more ink. Factory costs will slightly increase, but the monthly profit obviously is way higher. So the break even here kicks in after only 6 months. So this shows how important it is to come up with a really cool design, to charge the right prices, to make the right margins. And this is basically the difference between the users that are successful with our customers and the ones that are not so successful. One special thing about Kornit that I wanted to mention, that's also very important when you do the cost calculation. Kornit uses a printing process that's called neopigment. With all the competitors, the shirt needs to be pre-treated before you can put it into the printer. The reason is when you put a drop of, let's say, yellow ink on a trouser like that, the ink will sink into the fabric, will disappear, and you will hardly not see anymore that there was any ink ever on top of the surface. So at any rate, you require some sort of pretreatment fluid that you put on the fabric. With most of our competitors, it needs to be dried, hot pressed or whatever, and then in the second step, you put the shirt in the printer. We do not need that, and we try to avoid it because it's a separate step. It requires additional equipment, requires additional staff. In our systems, it's all automated and it's an integrated process. So you take the shirt from the box, put it in the printer. The pretreatment will happen inside the printer. The shirt will stay wet from the pretreatment, and the ink comes on top of the pretreatment. It's a wet-in-wet process. So the pretreatment is formulated in a way that the drop stays on top of the fabric, keeps its shape, color brilliance is really good, and when you dry it in a hot air dryer, the pretreatment or fixation will also make sure that the ink stays where it is and you get a wash resistance of approximately 50 cycles. These are really robust shirts. And again, I can only invite you to come over to our main booth at the other end of this hall and have a look at the samples yourself. So on-the-fly pre-treatment, that's very important. It's a single-step solution. It's probably the fastest way from the print file to the finished garment. It works on multiple fabrics. So with many textile printing systems, particularly in the roll-to-roll arena, you may have seen that for printing on cotton, you need a different ink than for printing on polyester, things like that. This is not the case with our systems. All of Kornit systems, be it garment, be it roll-to-roll, work with just one kind of ink, and you can print on all kinds of different fabrics. Cotton, polyester, synthetics, naturals, jeans, wool, whatever. It's 100% environmentally friendly. It's a water-based pigment ink. It has Ecotech certification. It is GOTS pre-approved. It's kid-safe, infant-safe. So it's a really safe and environmentally friendly process. And all these characteristics are contained in our brand for this printing process, which is called Neopigment. Traditional direct-to-garment printing solutions is what I just mentioned. Pre-treatment with a device or with a pump can, dry with a heat press, print, dry again, and there's your shirt. In Kornit system, however, it all happens in one step. Pre-heating, printing, all happens inside that printer. It's a simple hot air drying process required after the print, and here's your ready shirt. The market segmentation, I think this is also good overview for you guys. Most of the competitors are dealing with the entry-level segment. So these competitors are dealing with productivity levels of below 50 shirts per day, I would say. Everything above that, 50, 70, 100 shirts per day. There is a range of Kornit solutions that fit every kind of requirement level up to the super productivity class, the Avalanche 1000. It's a device that can print 300 shirts in an hour. So Kornit is by far the leading and most diversified vendor in the industrial segment. We really offer the complete range. Just to give you a few examples, the Kornit Breeze, that's our entry-level model. Prints up to 40 white shirts per hour. It's a compact system. It's still very robust. It's designed for 24/7 use. But this is a good entry-level solution, let's say, for the ones that want to get started. The Storm, the Avalanches are already industrial solutions. You will see that they have a double printing palette in order to increase the productivity. The Breeze has only one. The difference between the Storm and the Avalanche family is that the Storm, essentially you mount one shirt, push print, shirt goes in the printer, gets printed there. In the meantime, you mount the next shirt. And when the first shirt then has been printed, it comes out, the next one will drive in and will be printed automatically. In the Avalanches, it is a bit more sophisticated. The CMYK heads and the white heads are mounted on separate carriages. So while you send the first shirt to print and it gets the white foundation, the white layer, you mount the second shirt, send it in, and when the first shirt received the white ink layer, already the second, the empty shirt, can get the white layer while the second shirt already gets the CMYK. So it's a bit more of a sophisticated technology in order to improve the productivity. And it's probably fair to say that the Avalanche 1000, given the fact that it pre-treats internally and you don't need this additional process, it's probably the most productive solution that can be operated by a single person. There's one product that I wanted to highlight to you guys specifically. It's called the Avalanche Hexa. In a high productivity model like the Avalanche 1000, which has 24 heads, you use the sheer amount of heads in order to speed up the CMYK printing. So there is like double coverage of the CMYK print. So it simply goes faster. The Hexa is a little bit different. It has 20 heads, and we use the amount of heads in order to increase the number of primary colors. So it has not only a CMYK color set, it has an additional red and green. So the color gamut compared to the conventional CMYK system is increased by some 20-25%. So this is the perfect system for everything that relates to logo colors, spot colors, promotional articles, merchandise. It's very well suited for that. This is essentially what I just said. Of course, with the machine, we ship the RIP and the workflow software that really supports this additional color capabilities. So it's a complete system that really allows you to make use of the additional potential that this system has. So last slide. If you're really interested to enter this business, you need to make a business plan first. So spend some proper thoughts on what exactly is it that you're going to sell. Are we talking about t-shirts, hoodies, trousers, whatever? How many of them can you profitably sell per production day, let's say? What channel are you going to use? Online, direct, through a reseller? Once you have determined that, you need to select the right printer partner and model. So what make are you going to go for? Consider the price, the ROI, internal, external pretreatment. Yes, no. I tried to explain you the differences and the advantages and what are the capabilities of the system. The workflow is very important. If you are about to do something in e-commerce, of course, it's obvious that you need a really sophisticated shop system that's able to turn the orders around. On the other hand, when, for example, you run a shop that people would walk in, it's also really important to have a good software support because imagine a customer who wants to order soccer shirts for his team. It's essentially the same design, but he has 11 different numbers, 11 different names. If you start creating a master file and then start manipulating that manually in Photoshop, there is no way that you can turn such a job around in a profitable fashion. So there are workflow solutions. We also offer a product which is called QuickP Plus, which is a very easy approach to variable data print. So you create one master design, insert the placeholders, and then the rest of the content can be fetched from a spreadsheet or you enter it manually. This is way, way faster. So a 1,000, 2,000 euro software investment can really pay back really, really quickly. The garment partner, that's also very important. I mentioned that t-shirts are not optimized for being printed on, and usually t-shirts are something that is retailed. So all the brands that you see also here in this hall usually don't manufacture the shirts themselves. They buy them from various sources in Bangladesh or India or I do not know what, and they combine different batches in the same box. So with some of the brands, the characteristics of the t-shirt can change within the box. The first 20 shirts work incredibly cool on your system and with your current systems. And then from shirt 21, you realize that nothing is working anymore. So it makes sense to spend a few more pennies on the t-shirt quality in order to get a more stable quality and work with a vendor who is conscious of your digital printing requirements. This can really pay out, and this is one of the most important factors to look for. And when you cover all of those really important items, I think you are really a good bit closer to your goal, which is obviously to run your successful operation and to profit. That's it in a nutshell. Hope you found it interesting. Are there any questions? Nothing? Yes.
Dat is niet een RIP software. Dat is niet een RIP software. color profiling?
The software is ICC compatible, so like it can read ICC profiles. The profiling solution itself and the measurement devices that you require, they are not included with the system, so that would come on top. Other questions? All right, thanks for listening. And Sophie's Tech Time panel discussion is next. Thank you.